Spokane police officer is now on administrative leave over attempted sexual assault allegations from a deputy. What court documents show happened that night?
Fall officially starts in 4 minutes, but it might take a little longer before the fall weather settles in. I'll have your forecast.
The back and forth over clearing Camp Hope continues. This time, the Spokane County Sheriff is entering the conversation, how he plans to take matters into his own hands. You're watching 4 News Now at 6. Thanks for joining us. I'm Aaron Luna. Spokane police officer being investigated for attempted sexual assault of a sheriff's deputy.
I'm Kirsten O'Connor. Due to a conflict of interest, the Pullman Police Department was asked to investigate, and the Lincoln County Prosecutor's Office will handle the case. Our Emily Bloom is live in studio with the latest.
Prior to employment with the Spokane Police Department, this officer was a deputy with Spokane Sheriff's Office. In 2019, he made the move from being a deputy to a police officer, and that's when this incident happened. He could be facing second-degree attempted assault and unlawful imprisonment. Drew Richmond was placed on administrative leave by SPD as soon as they learned about the alleged conduct back in July. According to court documents, Richmond is suing the county for discrimination, claiming he heard a coworker make a racial slur back in 2019. That coworker was placed on administrative leave and ultimately fired. Recently, an anonymous letter was sent to SCSO describing the sexual assault of a female deputy. When questioned about the alleged assault that happened 3 years ago, the deputy confirmed this was true and said it was Richmond, then further described what happened. Those court documents outline on his final day with SCSO, he and that friend went out for drinks to celebrate. Richmond offered the victim a ride home, and they ended up back at her house when Richmond asked for a tour, the documents show. Her intent was to play a card game, but when she heard Richmond upstairs, she went up to find him. The documents say he then put her own department-issued handcuffs on her and began touching her. She told him to stop and saw the handcuff key nearby and used it to free herself. She then ran downstairs and told him to get out, and he left. SPD shared a statement saying in part, SPD is aware of the serious allegations lodged against Officer Andrew Richmond, which stem from an incident occurring prior to his employment with SPD. In order to ensure an independent and objective investigation, SPD has no involvement in any of the proceedings. Since 2018, 2 Spokane police officers were convicted of rape. Reporting in studio, Emily Bloom, 4 News Now.
Emily, thank you. I must not have got the memo because I know a lot of people around here wearing fall colors. I am not.
I believe fall officially starts in just a few minutes from now. Meteorologist Chris Crocker says you're safe for literally seconds at this point.
That's actually, it is 1 minute now. Fall will start in 1 minute. But it feels like fall is maybe not quite here around Spokane. We are in the 70s, but look at the difference once you add a little bit to the east. We are only at 61 in Spirit Lake, Post Falls, Hayden, and Coeur d'Alene. The difference is even more pronounced when we zoom out and take a look at temperatures. We're at 81 in Omak, but only 54 in Bonners Ferry, 55 in Sandpoint and St. Mary's, in the 40s at Lookout Pass and Kalispell. This is why clouds and showers still lingering in parts of North Idaho and western Montana. We are going to be clearing out, however, with mostly clear skies overnight and areas of patchy fog. It is breezy in spots across the region and will be again tomorrow as a cold front approaches. 17-mile-per-hour winds in Spokane. We had some problems with blowing dust earlier this afternoon in the Columbia Basin, but winds will be dying down later this evening. Your Friday planner, breezy at times, a high temperature of 70 degrees with a mix of sun and clouds, and then a warming trend kicks off on Saturday. We're heading back into the 80s next week. I'll tell you all about that in just a few minutes, Aaron.
Thank you, Chris. Spokane County Sheriff now says Camp Hope needs to go, and he's ready to make it happen. Sheriff Ozzie Knezevich sent a scathing letter to the Secretary of Transportation today.
He says the Department of Transportation failed to address the issue in a timely manner, and something needs to be done about it. This comes just as state agencies say they won't move people until there are more housing options available. Our Esther Bauer is live at Camp Hope tonight with the deadline from the sheriff.
He says if this camp is still here by the middle of October, he'll start clearing it. Other state agencies are talking about building a fence here at the camp. While the sheriff wants to see it gone, some say Camp Hope isn't going anywhere anytime soon.
There's no easy way to move 600 people off a plot of land, and numerous local and state agencies are already working on it.
The immediate next step is to get together again next week and continue the conversation.
Now, a new voice is joining the conversation. In this letter, Sheriff Ozzie Knezovich called out the Department of Transportation and Washington State for inaction and allowing this camp to grow for 9 months. He says the community can no longer stand by and allow the conditions to continue. Knezovich says he'll start clearing it by the middle of next month if nothing is done.
The letter from the sheriff is disappointing.
Zeke Smith runs Empire Health Foundation. His team is now connecting with the people living there to see what they need. He says that work takes time and the sheriff's deadline creates trauma.
All it does is increase people's anxieties. I think it actually is a safety challenge when he says something like that.
Empire says they want to see a fence surrounding Camp Hope, IDs for those living there, and a possible curfew to add security.
None of us believe that it's a permanent housing solution for anybody, including the residents that are there.
In response to the sheriff's letter, the Department of Transportation says his proposal doesn't capture the spirit of the goals for the camp. Those already involved say the sheriff is more than welcome to offer ideas and meaningful solutions.
If the sheriff wants to be a part of collaborating to how we can actually address Camp Hope and make sure that those folks can get into better housing, there's a seat at the table for him at any moment.
And WashDOT tells us this property will start to look quite a bit different in the next few months. They are committed to creating a fence here at this camp. And as for what's next with the sheriff's plan, well, he will hold a press conference on it tomorrow. We'll continue to bring you the latest updates from that and what's next here at Camp Hope. Reporting live in East Central, Esther Bauer, 4 News Now.
Esther, thank you. An Arizona man visiting Idaho with his mom is now facing murder charges. Police in Sandpoint say the elderly woman was found strangled to death in a hotel room. That hotel was the Best Western on Edgewater and Bridge Street yesterday evening. So when they found the body, officers say they found the 86-year-old woman dead, apparently after being choked to death. They arrested her 57-year-old son. Detectives say they were in town visiting friends when things took a violent turn. Officers are not saying what the motive behind the strangling was. Neighbors in North Spokane say they're fed up with constant crime.
Vandalism and needles lying around are just some of the things they say have taken over their neighborhood.
And Hurricane Fiona, now a Category 4 storm, leaves devastation behind in Puerto Rico. Why President Biden says he'll do what it takes so the island can recover quicker than it did when Hurricane Maria struck a few years back.
Plus, people living just west of Riverside State Park have major concerns about their water, what testing shows, and what they're doing to make sure it's safe for drinking.
Track live radar on the 4 News Now weather app.
Jennifer's Auto Sales and Service is going hog wild.
This is the dining room where we make messes and countless memories. This is the office where we spend long days losing ourselves in work. This is the bedroom where we hit snooze one too many times. And of course, the living area where we unwind and slow down. At Walker's, we have the styles you want for every room, so you can shop online or in store to create life's special moments and furnish your life for less at Walker's Furniture and Mattress.
BECU was created for communities like Spokane because we get what it means to be a Spokanite. We're locals who look out for our neighbors and strive to do what's right for our members. With convenient neighborhood financial centers, free ATMs, and 24/7 mobile banking, we can do what's right for you too. So join us at BECU.
My husband has diabetes.
Even with health insurance, we're having a hard time affording our medications.
Thankfully, we have Patty Murray fighting for us in the U.S. Senate. She kept at it till Congress finally lowered the cost of prescription drugs.
And capped insulin for seniors at $35 a month.
Now we'll save thousands every year. We know when Patty is back in the other Washington.
She is working for us.
I'm Patty Murray, and I approve this message.
If you have a vehicle you no longer need, you can give it new purpose through Union Gospel Mission. Simply go to ugmmotors.org or call 509-327-HELP to schedule a pickup. Your donation gives people like Tyler food, shelter, job training, and the opportunity for a whole new life. Be a driver of change. Donate your vehicle to Union Gospel Mission.
This could be the view out of your office window. Link Transit, serving the picturesque communities of Wenatchee, Leavenworth, Chelan, and many more, is looking for drivers to join our team on some of the most beautiful routes in all of Washington. Link Transit coach operators enjoy full family benefits, paid CDL training, a state-of-the-art fleet, and the satisfaction of being part of a progressive, community-minded team. If you like this view, Link has a seat for you. The next operator training starts soon. Apply today at linktransit.com.
The Air Force has been testing the water wells in a neighborhood miles north of the base since January. It's looking for PFOS and PFOA, chemicals found in firefighting foam used on the base.
Both chemicals are known as forever chemicals because neither break down in the body or the environment, and they're both known to cause serious health problems. And a neighbor sent 4 News Now a message asking for our help.
The Air Force started testing the wells in the area just west of Riverside State Park back in January. The chemicals, both known to cause serious health problems. Our Jordan Smith talked with people in that area in this exclusive story.
Well, we found that many people who live near that area are very nervous about the state of their water supply. Earlier today, I spoke with one of the first residents whose water was found to have exceeded the EPA's healthy amount. He shared his concerns and what's been done to make his water safer to drink. Several miles off 7 Mile Road, residents have been made aware of an alarming discovery.
I got a letter from the Air Force that said they want to test my well.
Jay, one of numerous residents in the area who received that letter. The Air Force was testing water for PFOs and PFCA, known as forever chemicals. They're highly dangerous and very present in this area.
In February, they made it out. I got my results, and they said they was only 75% of the limits. So I've been buying water since because I believe it's contaminated. Neighbor next door is, and her well the same depth as mine. And so if she's contaminated, then I must be too.
Jay is one of several who now rely solely on bottled water for cooking and drinking. George Compton, just down the road, was one of the first residents to learn PFOs were in the area. He says he had his water tested several years ago after hearing that a similar problem was happening in Airway Heights.
I contacted Fairchild Air Force Base and told them that I needed them to come out and test the water.
Their tests confirmed what George already knew. He says these chemicals came from Fairchild Air Force Base.
It's a foam they use when a plane comes in hot, and they have to foam the runway to keep it from bursting into flames. Over time, these chemicals, they just run off into the ground, and they work their way down into the groundwater.
In return, the Air Force built him this filtration system, which George says kills any bacteria and contaminants.
They'll continue maintaining it and stuff until it drops below 70 parts.
He's one of just a few in this area with this $50,000 lifeline. Other residents whose water isn't at 70 parts per 1 trillion liters are without this system.
So I appreciate that. I probably have some of the cleanest water in the area, but I'm just concerned about neighbors, and there's children further down. I'm concerned about them, you know.
And I've learned that many of these residents are still waiting on test results even as far back as 3 months ago. They're told that the lab testing this water is severely backed up, and this is a story we will continue to track. Reporting in studio, I'm Jordan Smith, 4 News Now.
The season's first major hurricane in the Atlantic strengthened to a Category 4 and is now taking aim at Bermuda. Hurricane Fiona's packed sustained winds over 100 miles per hour. The powerful storm has already hit parts of the Caribbean and Puerto Rico, leaving thousands of people without water or power.
Well, President Joe Biden met with FEMA officials today to focus on the disaster response to Hurricane Fiona.
The president announced he is authorizing 100% federal funding for debris removal and search and rescue operations, as well as power restoration on the island.
We're all in this together, I promise you, we don't view this as some distant problem. And power is slowly returning, but it's returning. And more help is coming from utilities and the mainland.
Hurricane Fiona came almost exactly 5 years after Hurricane Maria caused widespread damage in Puerto Rico. Damage to infrastructure from that massive storm has taken years to repair.
A terrifying storm. Your R&R RV camping forecast for the weekend. We're going to Devil's Elbow. That is on the North Fork of the Coeur d'Alene River there in the Idaho Panhandle National Forest. Warm and sunny during the days. We'll be in the 70s, but look at those overnight lows. Frosty for campers. I'll be back with your 7-day forecast.
Download the 4 News Now app today.
4 News Now is brought to you by Dishman Dodge.
Healthy communities need more than health care. This is Multicare. We're here for you.
Thanks to Joe Biden, food, fuel, everything costs too much. His energy policies and massive spending spree are driving skyrocketing prices, fueling the worst inflation in decades. 2 years ago, we were a self-sufficient, energy-independent, energy-exporting nation. Today, our energy production has been crippled. I'm Mike Crapo. I approve this message. Let's stop the spending free-for-all, let loose American energy, and fix inflation.
Iron Maiden, live, the legacy of the Beast Tour 2022. Don't miss their biggest stage show, their greatest songs. Iron Maiden, with very special guests, Trivium. Experience Iron Maiden live. Spokane Arena, Friday, September 30th. Get tickets now at ticketswest.com.
There's nothing that beats the in-person experience of the Fall Festival of Homes. Whether you're buying, remodeling, or just looking for inspiration, you'll find everything you need to turn your ideas into reality. The 18th Annual Fall Festival of Homes will feature top local builders such as Camden Homes, Toll Brothers, and Greenstone. Sponsored by Fred's Appliance and brought to you by Spokane Home Builders Association. Local leaders, proven resources.
Just Between Friends is happening this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Shop one of the largest consignment sales and get everything you need for your growing family. Unbelievable deals all at one place, only for a short time. Cash admission at the door. Go to spokane.jbfsale.com for details.
It is 72 degrees and mostly cloudy right now in Spokane. Still breezy, winds out of the west-southwest at 17 miles per hour, but those winds will be dying down. Quite a bit cooler in Coeur d'Alene. It is 61 degrees. Skies have cleared, however. Winds out of the southeast at 10 miles per hour. We'll be dropping down into the 40s tonight with mostly clear skies. Patchy fog, particularly in those areas that received some rain last night and this morning. Welcome rain. 70 degrees for a high tomorrow with partly sunny skies. And again, still breezy. Wind gusts up to 20 miles per hour and cooler because although we do have an area of low pressure exiting, taking the clouds and showers along with it, a cold front will be approaching tomorrow, and that will keep our temperatures seasonable, 70s just about average, before high pressure begins building in for the weekend, and we're going to kick off a warming trend that will bring back summer-like weather by the beginning of next week. Over at our air quality, meanwhile, you've probably noticed the haze on the horizon. We have been in the moderate range today. Right now, we're at 78, and we'll be in and out of the smoke over the weekend. Expect hazy conditions, particularly tomorrow. Here's a look at our smoke forecast. Always a little more optimistic than what turns out to be the case. We're starting off at our current time and may see an increase in smoke this evening and then improving conditions tomorrow with those westerly winds picking up a little bit in the afternoon. Meanwhile, here's a look at a live picture of the Spokane Arena, the Spokane County Courthouse, and you can see that haze on the horizon, but a little bit of blue sky overhead as we have our first sunset of fall, which started not too long ago at 6:03 officially, the autumnal equinox. Overnight lows tonight will be in the 40s. Colville an exception at 34, 51 in Lewiston, and 50 in Grand Coulee. High temperatures tomorrow will be in the mid to upper 60s in North Idaho, 70s elsewhere around the region. Temperatures just about average, and that will be our last day of average temperatures as our warming trend kicks off on Saturday. 73 Saturday, 77 Sunday. Perfect apple picking weather if you want to get an early start on the fall festival season at Green Bluff. By Monday, we are in the 80s and will stay in the 80s for Tuesday. Above average temperatures will continue through the end of next work week. Aaron.
Thank you, Chris. Well, the nonprofit Big Brothers Big Sisters of the Inland Northwest is now facing an unprecedented challenge, a shortage of mentors. Hundreds of kids are now waiting to be matched with someone to look up to and to learn from.
Local organizations are launching a volunteer campaign called Mentor Up for Children. Peter Choi joins us live in studio tonight. And Peter, how long have these kids been waiting to be matched?
Yeah, Big Brothers Big Sisters of the Inland Northwest now says hundreds of kids waiting for mentors for weeks, and some of them have been on the list for more than a year. I had a chance to talk to a student who told me the mentorship program helped him to get where he is today.
Honestly, I can't remember a time when I didn't have Brian in my life.
Ever since third grade, Caden Kensler says his mentor Brian was a part of his life from swimming.
Sometimes we would go to a golf course and just like putt for a little bit, and then we would play for money.
To his high school graduation. Even in times when he felt the most lonely, Brian was always there for him.
I have been bullied a lot through the years, and Brian has just made it to where it wasn't like torture all the time. He's helped me to know how to deal with it and just grow as a human being.
When the pandemic hit, it brought with a ripple effect in the form of a shortage of mentors. Compared to pre-pandemic, Big Brothers Big Sisters are now around 300 mentors short.
Especially at the height of the pandemic, a lot of people just weren't as willing as they may have been pre-pandemic to commit to developing a new relationship with somebody who's a stranger.
Many mentors weren't able to volunteer because schools shut down in-person learning due to COVID.
Through this, unfortunately, for obvious reasons, our mentoring program shrinked, our numbers shrinked dramatically.
The goal is to match 500 children with mentor by the end of next year.
A few minutes of our time each week and sitting with a student and doing these things that are simple, like listening and asking questions and taking an interest, really does change a child's life.
And organization officials say they're looking for more male mentors who can help kids who may not have a consistent father figure or male presence they can look up to. You can find more information on how to sign up to be one on our website, kxly.com. Live in studio, Peter Choi, 4 News Now.
Peter, thank you. Neighbors in North Spokane say they're reaching a breaking point because of rampant crime. What they're doing to take back their neighborhood.
And another challenge for former President Donald Trump. The New York Attorney General filed a lawsuit over fraudulent claims. What the lawsuit says he lied about coming up.
And an emotional day of testimony in the Alex Jones trial. Parents who lost their children in Sandy Hook took the stand and talked about the harassment they received because of people calling the shooting a hoax.
Stream 4 News Now on your TV for free with the KXLY Plus app.
GMA tomorrow. You're going to want to jump in heart first when Kelsey Ballerini lights up the morning. Tomorrow, it's Kelsey Ballerini on Good Morning America's concert series, sponsored by CarMax.
Biden and the Democrats printed trillions we don't have. The D.C. way. They spend, we pay. Gas and groceries are crushing family budgets. Kathy McMorris-Rogers says, no way. Kathy's fighting every day to cut spending and get American energy back online. lowering gas prices, and securing energy independence from Russia and China. Fighting to hold Biden accountable. Kathy McMorris Rogers, our voice.
I'm Kathy McMorris Rogers, and I approve this message.
It's time to jump back into the gym this week at all new fitness locations and see all the incredible new upgrades we've made to make our facilities the absolute best in the region.
And this week, to celebrate our 8-year anniversary, we're giving you one of the best special offers we've had in years, where you can join now for only $8.
Oh, life, we hear you beating out the rhythm of our days. We know you live fully. It's why we pioneer new treatments. Because when it comes to matters of the heart, you deserve world-class health care. Providence, we see the life in you.
Don't turn to that crutch in life that you think is going to get you by, but it's ultimately going to take over your life. When you go from being a productive member of society to not having changed your clothes in a month, not knowing the last time you bathed, and feeling worthless. You have worth. There is hope.
Bill's Heating and Air Conditioning is your family-owned and operated HVAC expert. Bill's can beat any licensed contractor's price with the lowest price guarantee in the area. 24-hour service available every day and $59 service calls. Bill's reminds you with the cold weather approaching, it's a good idea to change your air filters monthly. Perform annual maintenance on your equipment to maximize performance and use a smart thermostat to increase savings. Bill's Heating and Air Conditioning has the lowest price guarantee. Call today for estimates and repairs. 4 News Now is brought to you by Great Floors.
People were, accusing me of lying, telling me Ben never lived, telling me that I was going to burn in hell and that I would pay for what I had done.
An emotional day of testimony. 3 family members whose loved ones were murdered at Sandy Hook Elementary School took the stand describing the harassment they endured as a result of Alex Jones's false statements that the massacre was a hoax. David Wheeler and Jennifer Hensel recounted the online harassment they faced after their children were murdered. The trial is to determine how much money Jones and his company, Free Speech Solutions, will pay after they were found liable for defaming the families back in November of 2021. New York's Attorney General is suing the former president for $250 million. The massive civil lawsuit also includes Trump's 3 eldest children and the Trump Organization.
The lawsuit claims Trump lied about his net worth, inflating it by billions of dollars. ABC's Rena Roy has the details.
Yet another legal challenge for former President Trump. New York Attorney General Letitia James accusing the Trump family of, quote, staggering fraud, suing Trump and his 3 eldest children for $250 million.
There's no question the details here are damning. When you read through the 220-page document, it's not a good look for Donald Trump.
The lawsuit says for 20 years, Trump, with the help of Don Jr., Ivanka, and Eric, grossly inflated his net worth by billions of dollars.
Claiming you have money that you do not have does not amount to the art of the deal. It's the art of the steal.
James accusing the Trumps and 2 corporate executives of preparing hundreds of fraudulent and misleading financial statements that overstated the value of nearly every property they own, including golf courses, hotels, Trump's own apartment in Trump Tower, and his current home, Mar-a-Lago. The lawsuit says Mar-a-Lago is worth $75 million, but Trump valued it at $739 million based on development potential that doesn't exist. James says Trump deceived banks into lending him money on more favorable terms than he deserved.
It is a tale of 2 justice systems, one for everyday working people and one for the elite, the rich and the powerful.
The former president denying those claims in an interview on Fox News.
This was just a continuation of a witch hunt that began when I came down the escalator at Trump Tower.
James is hoping to permanently bar the Trumps from running businesses in New York. The Trump Organization is vowing to fight back, calling the suit unethical, political harassment, and an abuse of power. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
Well, coming up on 4 News Now at 6:30, the United Nations chief says millions of people around the world are on the brink of starvation. The warning he's sending about global food shortages.
People living in the West Glen neighborhood say crime is rampant and they've had enough. I'll show you what they're doing to protect their neighborhood and keep each other safe.
Sign up for breaking news alerts with the 4 News Now app.
Home. It's both a place and a feeling. At yours, you strive to make new memories, create traditions, share stories, find the fun, embrace the surprises, and celebrate moments big and small. Memories are made at home, in every room, in every moment. Make your house feel like home at the Tin Roof.
It says here, United Healthcare has America's most chosen Medicare plans and local Medicare plan experts.
They'll even find you a plan with good dental coverage.
How do you know?
Scott, my local Medicare plan expert. He helped me find the right plan.
With benefits including prescription, drug, vision, and dental coverage, our Washington team is ready to help you find a Medicare plan that meets your needs and budget.
Talk to a local Medicare plan expert today at 1-888-SHOP-UHC.
It's time to replace your old tub with a new shower. But you don't want the hassle or the worry of getting it finished. You just want to pick a style and relax, knowing that it'll be wonderful when it's done. Is that too much to ask? No, actually it's not. Rebath, from start to stunning. Call us or visit rebath.com and save $1,250 off your complete bathroom remodel.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
At your locally owned Ace, we've got exactly what you need, exactly when you need it, even if you don't know exactly what it's called.
A thingamajig. A whatchamacallit.
A doohickey.
Thingamabob.
A doodad.
Ace has a huge selection of nuts, bolts, plumbing, and electrical supplies in stock. And at Ace, our experts ask just the right questions to make sure you leave with exactly what you need. Whether it's a whatchamacallit or a thingamajig, come see us today.
Next DT.
Did you say I'm 100?
Only we're with the stars celebrating 100 years of Norman Lear. Plus, new couple alert.
I want to announce that Kim and I are engaged. She's going to be Kim Kimmel.
Then, a special ET exclusive.
It's very humbling.
Patricia Heaton's emotional return to Africa.
It's a real lesson to all of us who have so much.
Next DT.
Watch 4 News Now at 6 and Entertainment Tonight at 7:30. Live from downtown Spokane, this is 4 News Now at 6:30.
Damaged garages, stolen vehicles, and needles lying around one complex have pushed neighbors living in the West Glen neighborhood of Spokane to say enough is enough.
Yeah, they say crime continues to happen despite calls and reports filed with police. So now they're turning to each other for help. Our Bronte Saratsky explains one woman's frustrations and what the organization known as COP says fed up neighbors should try to reduce property crime.
Garage break-ins, vandalism, stolen cars, the list of crime in one Spokane neighborhood goes on. And now residents in the West Glen neighborhood say they've reached their breaking point.
We walk around with bear spray when we walk the dogs. We have bear spray with us.
Janae Springer has lived in the West Glen neighborhood for about 2 years now. In that time, she's battled crime near her apartment almost constantly.
We've tried all different kinds of things to keep it from happening. They'll take the chairs off the patios and put it beside the cars. Couple vehicles around here have been stolen, mostly pickups and motorcycles.
She keeps her truck's gas tank locked, keeps things out of it, but it's still been damaged. Springer says she and other neighbors have even tried taking matters into their own hands, but when they did, she was attacked.
There is 11 garages just in this place that you can see where they crowbarred to get in. They figured that out, caught them on camera as they're doing it. We've approached a few, and myself got assaulted when I did that.
She says she wants to put an end to this once and for all.
I think if we would stand together, I don't think that we'd have near this problem.
Spokane Cops has programs to help neighbors band together to keep their community safe.
You start getting the neighbors talking and communicating with each other and seeing things and working with each other, then you just see less of a risk.
The organization says the block watches work because they send the message not to mess with that neighborhood.
You can target anything. The reality is when it comes to the bad guys, they know what neighborhoods they can get away with their stuff and which ones they can't. And so we want to send the message, you're not going to get away with it here.
Now, if a block watch in your area sounds like a good idea, Cops recommends reaching out to your neighbors to start one of your own. Reporting in Spokane, Bronte Sorotsky, 4 News Now.
Well, it's easy to check your local time, 6:34 right now, but the government says it may be harder to find a map with the correct times across the U.S.
Right. Today, the Inspector General for the U.S. Department of Transportation reported the department does not have a single map that accurately shows the nation's time zones and each local observance of daylight saving time. DOT handles keeping up with the clock because time is important for travel. But investigators found several sources of time information on the DOT's own website contained errors. For instance, the Inspector General shared the original 5 time zones have expanded to 9. Federal transportation officials are now working to create a map, and they want it to accurately show the boundaries of local daylight saving times nationwide. The issue came to light after the U.S. Senate passed legislation this year making daylight saving time permanent, which was kind of contentious. Not everybody was on board with that.
No, not everybody was on the same page.
Everybody gets upset about daylight saving time, but maybe when they get it all mapped out, we can figure out what the issue is.
We'll figure it out. Not everyone's going to be on the same page either. Or on the same time zone. That's bad. We still have a month before we fall back. Right now, let's send it over to Chris Crocker. And Chris, what are we seeing outside?
We are seeing some haze on the horizon, cloudy skies. Those clouds will clear across the region tonight, although we may see some patchy fog. Here are 4 things to know about your weather. Fall is here. It started at the top of the hour, 6:03 to be precise. Partly sunny skies for Friday after some morning fog, and then sunny and warm for the weekend. Next week, we are heading into the 80s. Here's a look at our satellite and radar. We still have a fair amount of clouds, but starting to break up in eastern Washington. The last of some showers moving out of the region in the central panhandle and western Montana. We will be drying out overnight. The clouds and showers have had a big impact on our temperatures. You can see the 40s in western Montana and at Lookout Pass, 50s in Bonners Ferry, Sandpoint, and St. Mary's. We've got some 60s on the map, and then into the 70s and 80s. The further west you go, 81 right now in Omak with some sunshine. Still a bit breezy in Spokane, but the winds will be dying down. However, it will be a breezy Friday, high temperature of 70 degrees, and then we start warming up. I'll tell you about the warming trend in the forecast and let you know if it's going to stick around in the 8 to 14 day outlook in just a few minutes, Aaron.
Thank you, Chris. Well, just to be clear, we have not had any reports of this in the inland Northwest, but a new trend in robberies is something you might want to be aware of.
So quick, you could not only be robbed, you could be mugged, you could be raped.
Well, this is a woman in Stockton, California who fell victim to what's called jugging, and that's when someone follows another person to the bank, ATM, or store and then robs them. She went to the bank, made a withdrawal, then made the 5-minute drive home where she was robbed.
All of a sudden, I heard tapping on my window, and it was just so quick, and the window was being broke out, and I started screaming.
Cases like this are on the rise around the country. So what can you do to make sure that you are not a victim of jugging?
Being aware of your surroundings, especially if you're carrying large sums of money.
Police say if you notice you're being followed, do not drive home. Drive around the neighborhood or to your nearest law enforcement agency, and always call 911.
The United Nations chief is warning of hell on earth food shortages. He says the war in Ukraine, the ongoing pandemic, rise in inflation, and climate change have led to more than 300 million people living on the brink of starvation. As fertilizer becomes more difficult to manufacture and export, countries in Africa and Asia are unable to harvest typical quantities of food.
The world produces enough food to feed everybody on the planet, over 7.7 billion people. 50% of that food is because of fertilizer. So if you don't have fertilizer, you can't have harvest the yields that you need.
Well, David Beasley says there's an $11 billion shortfall of food production inside Africa alone, and that Central America, South America, and India are facing similar conditions.
We'll get to the Greek this week. The Greek festival, that is. Spokane's 86th Greek festival is happening right now at Holy Trinity Greek Orthodox Church. The three-day event is all about traditional Greek food, music, dancing, and culture. You can eat your gyro and baklava at the church or take it home with you. And Father Daniel Triant says that the festival always has a way of bringing the Spokane community together.
One of the big things about being Greek is hospitality. It's to reach out to your neighbor. And so this is the greatest way in which we do that, because so many people come from all over Spokane and the greater Spokane area to be a part of this, and it's impressive.
Greek Fest continues today through Saturday from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. every day, and you can also shop for Greek items, books, pastries, and coffee, or take a tour inside the church. Aaron just looked at me because he knows I'm going to go for the coffee. For more information and to see what's on the menu at Greek Fest, see the story on KXLY.com.
I would go for the coffee too.
Yeah.
That's good stuff. Well, the Fed said it's raising its rates to keep up with inflation. That means you'll pay more to take out a home loan.
But there could be a solution to higher mortgage rates. We'll break it down ahead. And one Washington State Cougar is starting to turn some heads at the next level. Coming up in sports, Alex Crescenti has more on where their star linebacker could go in next year's NFL draft.
Download the 4 News Now app today.
4 News Now is brought to you by Great Floors. More Americans choose ABC News, America's #1 news source.
Hi, I'm Ron.
And I'm Shelley.
At Rosenberger Construction, we build some of the most beautiful custom homes in North Idaho.
Like our spectacular spec home, now for sale at the club at Rock Creek, Coeur d'Alene's newest private golf course filled with stunning natural beauty. Our custom homes are furnished and designed with you in mind.
For our clients looking for that unique, one-of-a-kind piece of furniture, we always recommend Consign Furniture in Liberty Lake.
From great rooms to dining rooms to master suites, Consign Furniture is sure to turn any house into a home.
Hello, I'm Lloyd Herman. If you need legal assistance due to an accident or an injury, put my 40 years of experience of dealing with the insurance companies to work for you. You'll have an appointment to speak to me within 48 hours. Lloyd Herman & Associates, 922-6600.
These doors are closed because it's too dangerous to ask employees to work here anymore. Think about that. For decades, Patty Murray has spearheaded reckless policies that lead to shortages, inflation, and so much crime that you can't even get a cup of coffee from the hometown shop on Capitol Hill, even if you could still afford it. 30 years in the Senate, and this is what she has to show for it? If she won't do the job, I will. I'm Tiffany Smiley, and I approve this message.
Do you want to save energy this winter? Time to talk with the experts at Country Homes Power. Save on Valor gas fireplaces that distribute steady, even heat even when the power is out. Turn down your furnace and heat wisely with Valor. Shop the savings at Country Homes Power today.
It's time to jump back into the gym and see all the new upgrades we've made over the summer with the most exciting offer we've had in years as we celebrate our 8-year anniversary with a Join Now for only $8 special offer.
Join the movement.
Come home to flooring for the whole family at Great Floors. Elevate your space with beautiful flooring for the whole family, including the furry ones. Great Floors offers a large selection of Shaw Pet Perfect flooring with exclusive discounts. Shop carpet, laminate, and hardwood at Great Floors. Ask about exclusive Great Floors 12-month financing options. Visit a showroom today and live life on Great Floors.
Welcome to fall. Seasonable conditions for this start of fall, and that will be the case for tomorrow, our first full day. Here's our time lapse looking to the west over the Spokane Veterans Memorial Arena and the county courthouse. We've got that haze on the horizon. The clouds, however, are going to be clearing and continue to clear tonight. Some patchy fog, particularly in some of the sheltered valleys and spots where you got some better rains. I'll show you that in just a moment. High temperatures today. Look at the difference between eastern Washington and North Idaho. Liberty Lake right on the straddling line. We're at 69 for a high, but 61 for Coeur d'Alene, Post Falls, Hayden, and Spirit Lake, while we were at least 10 degrees warmer in most of eastern Washington, including 72 for a high at Spokane International Airport. That's just about average, and we'll be in the ballpark again tomorrow before we start to warm up. Here's a look at our temperature trend over the next 7 days. This white line is average, and by this time next week, our average high is only 68 degrees. Tomorrow we may be a degree below average, but then warming up to more summer-like weather to start next work week, and then we'll start to moderate a little bit. 73 on Thursday. That is still 5 degrees or more above average, and it looks like that trend may continue as we get into the first week of October. It's hard to believe October is coming so soon. This is the forecast for September 30th through October 6th. We are in that orange, indicating at least somewhat of a trend toward above average temperatures. We're not in these darker oranges further to the east. Meanwhile, no real indication one way or another in terms of precipitation that we'll start to see above average precipitation working its way into the inland northwest once we get a little bit deeper into fall and La Nina starts cooking. Meanwhile, here's our rainfall totals from today. It was nice just to get some measurable rain, but we only had 300s at Spokane International Airport. These are actually 24-hour totals. Not even quite a 1/10 of an inch in Spokane Valley, but boy, as you head to the south, look at Pullman, almost a 1/2 inch, over a 1/2 inch in Lewiston, and 6,600s in Moscow. The system responsible for that rain moving off to the east. We do have a dry cold front coming through tomorrow. All that's going to do is keep the breeze going. That's going to hopefully disperse some of the wildfire smoke that's given that haze on the horizon. We'll be in and out of the clouds tomorrow with a high of 70, and then there comes the warming trend and a lot of sunshine to go along with it. Looks like a really nice weekend to either engage in some of your last-minute summer fun or do something great outside to celebrate fall. Aaron?
I like both those options. Thank you, Chris. As interest rates spike, there could be a mortgage game changer.
One major bank is offering no money down mortgages to some buyers. It's designed to close the homeownership gap for minorities. Here's ABC's Rebecca Jarvis with the new option.
This morning, the cost of borrowing up again, with the Fed hiking interest rates for the 3rd time since June to combat historic inflation.
We have got to get inflation behind us. I wish there were a painless way to do that. There isn't.
The result? New home loans are more expensive. The average 30-year fixed-rate mortgage nearly doubling since January, now above 6%.
The housing market doesn't do well in a rising interest rate environment. And that's because consumers are relying on mortgages in order to become a homeowner. And what we've seen since the start of this year is that millions of Americans have now been priced out of homeownership.
As a result, more Americans are now turning to adjustable rate mortgages like the 5/1 ARM, which offers a 4.93% rate, more than a percentage point lower than the 30-year fixed. This type of mortgage lets you buy with lower payments for the first 5 years. The risk: the loans are subject to a variable rate, meaning if rates go much higher, you'll eventually have to make much higher payments, something that hurt a lot of homeowners in the Great Recession. The popularity of these loans is now at a 15-year high. Some banks are also offering new programs for those who fall within income requirements, like Chase's Dreammaker Mortgage, which lets qualified buyers make down payments as little as 3%. And Bank of America's Community Affordable Loan Solution, which offers 0 down payments and 0 closing costs in specific markets for qualified first-time home buyers.
Here's a look at ABC's primetime lineup tonight.
Stream 4 News now on your TV for free with the KXLY Plus app.
Joni here at Post Falls Volkswagen with this bold and beautiful 2022 Taos. But there's more than just good looks behind this compact SUV. This is the perfect choice because it's also practical and efficient. with driver assist and all the latest enhanced safety features. Plus, the Taos is packed with the useful high-tech features you use every day. If you're thinking of a compact SUV, think Taos at your nearby Post Falls Volkswagen, the home of 0000.
It's time to elevate your finances. Introducing Ascend Checking, the new free checking account from P1FCU that pays you dividends. Earn 1.45% APY on balances up to $15,000. Plus, get online and mobile banking and mobile deposit with no minimum balance requirements. Level up your finances with Ascend Checking. To open your account, visit p1fcu.org/ascend. P1FCU, a Pacific Northwest original since 1938.
Cold case in Alaska. Her death is part of a pattern, and we need to show who's to blame.
We're going to break this story.
I was in my car with my daughter actually driving, and we were sitting at a stoplight, and I hear this loud screeching sound and then just a bang. My medical bills were close to $500,000. It was a lot of work. It was stressful. The stress alone of just keep getting those bills. This is past due. This is past due.
Albrecht Law has seen what happens when someone doesn't have a lawyer.
The whole team was amazing. I just felt comfortable knowing they were taking care of it.
You've got questions? Get your answers from Albrecht Law.
Thanks to Joe Biden, food, fuel, everything costs too much. His energy policies and massive spending spree are driving skyrocketing prices, fueling the worst inflation in decades. 2 years ago, we were a self-sufficient, energy-independent, energy-exporting nation. Today, our energy production has been crippled. I'm Mike Crapo. I approve this message. Let's stop the spending free-for-all, let loose American energy, and fix inflation.
At Dishman Dodge Ram Chrysler Jeep, during Ram Power Days, Dishman is offering extra savings and delayed payments with incredible financing options to give you more trucks for less bucks. It's the perfect play. Brought to you by the All-Star team at Dishman.
4 News Now is brought to you by Wendell Motors.
The WSU Cougars are getting ready for their big game against the Oregon Ducks this weekend.
And as Alex Crescenti tells us, there's a special friend connection that the Cougs hope will pay big dividends for them in the game. Alex.
Yeah, if you watched the game last Saturday, you saw plenty of scoring up and down the field by the offense of the Cougs, scoring 4 touchdowns in the first 4 possessions. Even quarterback Cam Ward had his most efficient game in a WSU uniform, throwing for nearly 300 yards and completing passes to 9 different receivers, including to his favorite target while he was at Incarnate Word, and that's 5'7", 170-pound wide receiver Robert Farrell. The senior transfer had been hurt for much of training camp and the beginning of the season, but on Saturday he brought in 3 catches for 64 yards in his Pac-12 debut. In 2 seasons at Word, Farrell caught more than 110 balls for 1,200 yards and 15 touchdowns. And he admits while he was a little anxious at first this weekend in the new atmosphere, but he settled down as the game went along.
It's great. I was really excited to get in there, and I'm glad Cam trusted me enough to throw me that ball. It's like, because I haven't been practicing, like you said, and stuff like that. It's just kind of muscle memory, so it felt very great to get in there and actually get my feet wet for a little bit.
And another Coug making headlines is Deion Henley. The transfer linebacker from Nevada had emerged as one of the best defensive players in the country, and now he's starting to turn some heads at the next level. ESPN's Mel Kiper Jr. has Henley listed at number 24 overall on his big board for the 2023 NFL Draft. Through 3 games, as he has accounted for 30 tackles, 4 sacks, and 2 forced fumbles. Obviously, still a long way before the draft. And Henley and the Cougs will get ready for another top 25 opponent as the Oregon Ducks come to town on Saturday afternoon. Washington State currently 6.5-point underdogs. The school just announced moments ago it's a sellout, so that place is going to be rocking. Now to some day baseball. Mariners looking to avoid the sweep at the hands of the Oakland Athletics and inch closer to the playoffs. Top of the first, scoreless until Mitch Haniger goes opposite way into right field. Julio Rodriguez is going to hustle from second and score standing up, and it's 1-0 Seattle. But in the bottom of the inning, some troubling moments here. Rodriguez dealing with some tightness in his lower back. He already missed 3 games in the last series against the Angels due to that same back issues, and he would have to leave in this one, and that's not good for an already banged up M squad. He will be looked at tomorrow. So the team would have to rally without him in the 6th inning with Oakland in the lead. Jared Kelnick going to line into the gap in right center. That's going to score another run, and we are tied up once again. Then a few batters later, it's going to be Adam Frazier. Just keeps this ball fair down the left field line. And 2 runs are going to score, and Seattle back on top for good as they pull away late, winning this one 9-5. And with the win, they are now tied with the Tampa Bay Rays for the second wild card spot and remain 4.5 over Baltimore with less than 2.5 weeks to go. 4 News Now. We'll be right back.
Sign up for breaking news alerts with the 4 News Now app.
BECU was created for communities like Spokane because we get what it means to be a Spokaneite. We're locals who look out for our neighbors and strive to do what's right for our members. With convenient neighborhood financial centers, free ATMs, and 24/7 mobile banking, we can do what's right for you too. So join us at BECU.
Get exactly what you want. Wendell Ford is ready to help you find that vehicle you've been wanting to buy. Built for you. F-150, Bronco, Bronco Sport, Explorer, Mach-E, and Maverick. Here's how it works. Make a list of options you want. Wendell will work with you on financing to fit your budget. And then we will order the vehicle of your dreams or select from current inventory. Get exactly what you want. Built for you. Wendell Ford at the Y. Drive for generations.
Just Between Friends is happening this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Shop one of the largest consignment sales and get everything you need for your growing family. Unbelievable deals all at one place, only for a short time. Cash admission at the door. Go to spokane.jbfsale.com for details.
My husband has diabetes.
Even with health insurance, we're having a hard time affording our medications.
Thankfully, we have Patty Murray fighting for us in the U.S. Senate. She kept at it till Congress finally lowered the cost of prescription drugs.
And capped insulin for seniors at $35 a month.
Now we'll save thousands every year. We know when Patty is back in the other Washington.
She is working for us.
I'm Patty Murray, and I approve this message.
I'm Jonah, and I'd like to welcome you to the brand new Coeur d'Alene Nissan. You'll find the grand dealership lobby open, comfortable, and relaxing. A service center with state-of-the-art equipment committed to getting you quickly and safely back on the road. There's much more to experience. I'm inviting you to stop in and see us. We're just off Highway 95 in Coeur d'Alene.
The famous actress and her daughter, terrorized by a stalker for 12 years. Next, Inside Edition, she solved cases on CSI Miami. How the FBI solved their case using similar technology.
I'm only being able to talk about it now.
Then, exploding e-bikes and e-scooters. Are they dangerous? Watch the next Inside Edition.
Watch 4 News Now at 6 and Inside Edition at 7.
Not a bad Friday, not a bad first day of fall. 70 degrees for a high with a mix of sun and clouds, a little bit of a breeze. It's going to feel like fall. We'll start off in the 40s. The weekend's another story.
Let's keep the weekends going for at least a couple more.
And those are, of course, mums behind our favorite fall flower, one of them.
Did you take that picture?
No, the good folks at, I found this on the internet, took it, but Kirsten and I have moms.
We do.
Big baskets of moms. You got to join, go get some moms.
Yeah, let's see who can keep them alive longer.
Oh, that's not important.
You know me, I can kill any plant within
Alex
a week.
and I will bet on who's going to come out on top.
It's not going to be me.